We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yuggera land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors, and any First Nations people here today.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtstars, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the new Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt. Hi, I'm Keely. Tonight I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country, the Kulin Nation, the Wurrung people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been and always will be Aboriginal land. If this is the first time you've joined us on the new Blurt, hello to you. Thank you for joining us, stumbling across this podcast or podcast if you're listening on the YouTubes or something like that. Tonight we're going to talk about good news, and we're also going to have a segment called Across the Dutch, which is all about what's happening in New Zealand. We've got some interesting, funny sort of things that are happening in New Zealand. So over to you, Wensai.
Hello. I'm coming to you from the stolen lands of the Yuggera and Turrbal people. Sovereignty was never ceded. I pay my respects to the Yuggera and Turrbal elders, past, present, and emerging. Hey, Kexter. Welcome back to
friend? Yes. Well, there has been a little bit of a tete-a-tete over there in Kiwi, which is quite apt considering we are doing a bit of Across the Dutch tonight, which has nothing to do with my Across the Dutch experience, but nonetheless, it should be fun. Should be good.
You had a good time there, I take it. You went to a wedding, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was awesome actually. I went to my niece's wedding, and it was interesting because I got there on a Thursday, and I got hired the car, etc. And I stopped using the wipers Friday lunchtime.
Nice. So full day.
It was just teeming the whole time, and
wow.
And I don't know if you've ever driven in New Zealand roads at night on the freeway in a car you're not
scary.
used to. It really honestly was a bit scary. It's got to be said, because the way that the roads are so much that if you take one wrong turn, you are driving like probably another half an hour to an hour to get back onto where you were before. It's really going to take you a long way out of your way. Yeah, it is. And the other thing was
around the block.
Right. Yes. It is a very big block. It is very big. And the other thing is that the way that some of their roads work, the GPS will say you can go straight here, go straight. So you go straight, you do what the GPS says, and then you get to the end of the road, and what the GPS didn't tell you because it didn't know is that it's split into two, and there's one way. There's one way to go left, and there's one way to go right. That's it. And you're like, oh, right. So what happens if I want to go straight? And you're like, okay, so I need to be in that lane. And the GPS is just totally confused. It does not know. And it's a fun place to drive. Honestly, it really is a fun place to drive. And also, so much roadworks because, as you know, they had floods, really detrimental floods early in the year. And where they had those floods, very much up in the area where the wedding was.
Right.
So they were getting even more rain than they'd already had. And so it was phenomenal. It's just, I don't know if you've ever watched many Kiwi series or Kiwi movies, etc. But what you'll always see, or even a Kiwi ad or something, what you'll always see, because obviously they take the piss out of themselves all the time, is temporary traffic lights.
Okay, those little ones that are on the side of the road.
Correct. And that is because they are everywhere. And when I was driving there, it was just like there was cones up everywhere. There was, just It's just phenomenal, and it's really interesting too because, like, you know, you're doing the speed limit it tells you to do, and then you got some joker behind you that is trying to get you to go a bit quicker, and you're like, well, I've got cones to the right of me and cones to the left of me. Sorry, buddy, you are just staying where you are, going faster. But yeah, no, interesting experience driving over there for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Also, the other thing I hadn't told you is on the actual day of the wedding, because of where they got married outside.
Which they would have been quite nervous going, oh my God, when is it going to stop raining?
And it did stop, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful where they got married. It was really, really lovely. And it did stop raining. But obviously, although it stopped raining, it doesn't mean that the ground is dry.
Yeah, true.
Because it had so much rain. Like before we got there, apparently it's been raining for a week. So they put all these chairs out where we were sitting for the wedding, and as soon as you sat in a chair, your chair sunk into the mud.
Oh, I can't see the wedding couple now. It's just
by about an inch on each chair leg, and it was quite funny. You'd sit in the chair, and you'd see someone sit in a chair before you, and you'd just see a chair just go, and and so anyway, that's where the bride got married, and she looked beautiful when she was getting married. I mean, she still looked pretty good afterwards, but where we had the reception, all of that area was waterlogged as well.
Jeez.
So, and all these girls got these lovely dresses on and all this sort of stuff. You can just imagine, right? So you've got flowing dresses and you've got wet ground.
And probably mud.
Oh, mud. Yeah. There was a lot of mud.
So that white dress ended up being a bit brown at the bottom?
A bit is an understatement.
Okay.
A bit, and it was beautiful too. The dress, my sister was gutted because it was custom made. It was custom style. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful dress. It really was. Any other was looking at it would just go, "You've got to be kidding! I can't believe you did that to a dress." But she was just like, she loved it too, but she had to get over it because she knew she couldn't change it. So.
Exactly. Well, you can't beat the elements outside.
No, couldn't change the weather.
Yeah.
But again, that was really interesting too because you'd sit in your chair and you'd be having your meal, and then all of a sudden you were an inch shorter than you were a second ago. So you look like roof wrecked from bloody Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. That's right. Just. Yeah, exactly right. You got your head almost on the table trying to eat some food. It was no, look, it was a beautiful wedding though. It was fun. It was good. It was great to see the people, and they were good people, and so all in all, it was pretty good.
And I guess the main thing is that the nuptials had a good day and said what they had to say and did what they had to do, and had their family and friends. That's the main thing.
They did indeed, and it's definitely a memorable occasion. So, but I heard that when I was over there having a memorable occasion, when I came back, you have had a couple of memorable occasions, I believe.
Yes. Last Friday, I found out that the first thing was Thursday evening we found out that tickets were about to go on resale the next day, and we went for it, and the tickets that we finally got were Tay, good old Taylor Swift. So we were bitterly disappointed back in June, I think it was, when I was in Melbourne, my family were up here in Brisbane, and we're all trying to get the tickets, competing with tens of thousands of others or hundreds in Australia, and we didn't get the tickets then. But this time, we got 3 tickets. Oh, where's the camera? There. 3 tickets.
Even Albo was trying to get tickets. He couldn't get tickets. How did you get tickets this time? Yeah.
I don't know. If I had have got 4, I would have invited him.
if I'd have known that.
You're talking about Tay-Tay as such. I've got
Yes.
a little bit on that. It will move in quite nicely.
Cool.
So if you just bear with me for half a second, I'll see if I can
Mm.
key this up. See if I can get this sorted. It might just take a second. Waiting
that's
for
an
it
old
to
one.
there we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Here we go. Just need to try to. Right, there we go.
Or a startup company unto itself, literally demand overwhelming Ticketmaster and stadiums, an estimated $5 billion Swiftie impact on the economy. And she's got her own movie from the tour coming. We're talking about numbers that outstrip the production of some entire nations. And that actually makes sense when you realize Swift has built a fan base in the many hundreds of millions. That's larger than the populations of many countries. And this movement or group of fans is united around very specific things. Of course, Swift's artistry and talent, but also a bundle of issues that she has come to represent as she has evolved her power and reach over time. And while we're not going to encapsulate all of it here on this newscast, some of those issues include authentic emotional passion, outspoken feminism, a fierce rejection of the boxes and limits that society tries to put on artists and specifically on many women, and a willingness to clash with both stereotypes and these corporate systems. In fact, today's congressional scrutiny of Ticketmaster comes amidst Taylor's larger battles with streaming companies' treatments of artists. She famously and pretty politely took on Apple and won, or her infamous clash with investors who bought up her music. Swift arguing against capitalist precedents, even if they were technically legal, because sometimes what's legal is still unfair. She even, of course, famously re-recorded her tracks to try to empower fans to basically vote, make their own choice about which legal systems they wanted to be a part of. Swift releasing 6 new and re-recorded albums since 2020 alone. Now, today's hearing, like this weekend's NFL game, marks.
So I think that's pretty compelling of what sort of artist she is. So the fact that you could get some tickets, done a very, very good job.
Yeah, we are very happy. So so the whole family is off to Sydney next year, late February, and Kim, Elijah, and myself will be there chanting and singing and dancing, maybe, I don't know, exchanging wristbands.
I never realized you were a Swiftie. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
I classify myself as a Swiftie ally.
Swiftie ally. Nice.
I'm an ally, yes.
Actually, that brings us nicely into the fact that I believe it's Trans Awareness Week.
That is absolutely right.
Talking about allies and
correct.
as such.
So it is Trans Awareness Week, and here's the website for anyone who's interested: tdor.org.au, which stands for Trans. What's that? Sorry.
We'll have that in the show notes as we always do.
Absolutely right. So this week is Trans Awareness Week. What does it? What's it entail? What's it for? It's to bring awareness to the plight of trans kids, trans people who often struggle to fit into society because they're not understood. And we've had the gay rights, the lesbian issues come to light over decades, and I think we've matured to understand all of that. But there's a lot of misunderstanding with trans and what that means for people who live it. As I've mentioned a few times before, my oldest Elijah is trans. So we celebrate as much as we can, and we're open about it with anyone and everyone that we meet, because there's nothing to be scared of. Just like the the gay marriage plebiscite we had a few years ago. Nothing changed after that. And when you meet someone who's trans, it's not going to change your life. If anything, it's going to improve it, because you're just going to meet someone else who is just as awesome as you and all your friends. So yeah, so that's what this week is all about. It's just about figuring out that there's nothing wrong about being trans. They're just like you and I. We're all humans. We can all live together peacefully and respectfully. So yeah, that's what we want to do this week. Oh, not hearing you there, Kexter, if you're talking. Lost you there for a moment. Having a little bit of technical issues here. Oh, that's better. Now we got him back.
Is that better?
Oh, we got him back, yes.
Right. You said there was echo before. Is it echo now?
No, it's a lot clearer now.
Oh, that's good. Okay, we'll just stick with that at the moment then.
Yeah.
Just let me know if that's all right.
Yep, all good.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Sorry about that. We're just having fun. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
100% endorse that because it talks about Remembrance Day as well for trans that have lost their lives. I imagine just is that just in general, or in, sort of fighting the cause, or
they are statistically more likely to commit suicide, self-harm, and things like that compared to the general population. And even gay and lesbian, it's a lot higher than people who are gay and lesbian. So so it's pretty tough for them.
No, it absolutely is, because it should just be live and let live. Easy as that.
That's right.
It's interesting. I see more and more. I think not always, but many I've seen is sort of, well, they were born a guy, but they're probably a them now, I assume. Sort of in Melbourne, in sort of in dresses and those sort of things, etc., etc. And it's just becoming common all the time through Melbourne. You see it, and it's great, because I mean, probably 10 years ago, I imagine, there might have been eyelids battered and this sort of stuff, but now it just seems to be part of society, which is good, because that's how I'd like it to be. So I totally agree. 100%. 100%.
Doesn't matter where you're from, what you believe in. We should just accept people for that, what they are, who they are. Just be happy.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. So, but actually, talking about accepting people for who they are, you had some word on SAG-Watch, i.e., the Screen Actors Guild strike.
Yes, correct.
I think it's good news. I believe it's good news.
It is. It is very good news. So in the last, since we've been off air, the Hollywood actors have come to an agreement with the studios in a multi-billion-dollar agreement where they will get extra royalties. AI will be controlled, and obviously actors' images won't be used for AI purposes and things like that. So similar to the screenwriters agreement a few weeks before that, everyone's now happy, signed the dotted line, and we've got all the actors, all the screenwriters and directors all playing together happily again. And studios are back to the usual machine of creating content, movies, TV shows. So yeah, we're all back together again. So that is a very good news. So all those movies I've talked about in the past, I can't remember all of them now. They're all going to come back into production, and so that is very, very good news. And So I'm not sure if anyone can see right now, but we have some technical issues, and we've lost our host, the Kegster, who I assume will join us very soon. Yeah, so what else can I say about the actors' strike? It was a nearly 3 or 4 month strike that they were on after they joined the screenwriters. And the last time the actors had striked was back in the 60s. So it had been a very long time since they striked. And he's back, just like the actors, the Hollywood actors, they're all back. Yes. So I was just telling the listener and viewers out there that the Hollywood strike is over, but at the same time, just because they're back here Hollywood, they're back in Hollywood doesn't mean that the Australian actors, for example, and screenwriters get the same deal. So that deal only relates to Hollywood actors. So when they come to Australia, they fall under the American or the Hollywood contracts, but Australian actors don't fall under that. So they don't see any benefit or they don't get the same benefits as Hollywood actors. So there's still a fight here in Australia to get similar outcomes with AI and other issues. So maybe we need to keep an eye on that over the next few weeks and see if they can push through and get their own deals here in Australia as well. So that'll be something to watch out for.
Are you saying that the Australian actors here will not have the same rights over their own IP of their own acting sort of
pretty much, yeah,
as the Americans do? They won't have the same.
That's right, because our studios here don't fall under the American or the Hollywood contracts, so they've got their own separate contracts here. So unless you're someone like Banter or Nicole Kidman, any other Australian actor who is under a Hollywood contract, if you act here in Australia, yeah, it's totally different. So you won't get the same benefits. So there's still a struggle here. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one, I think.
I think we will definitely keep an eye on that one. Absolutely, because yeah, big. I mean, you and I are sort of big fans of AI to a certain extent, but not when it comes to taking over people's lives, etc. So,
exactly. Even for Elijah, who's into being very creative and likes drawing and painting and things like that, they're afraid of AI taking over their jobs because we've seen programs that you can say, right, paint me dog, country, car, and then you get some sort of AI generated piece of artwork. So you've just taken the human out of artwork. So yeah, it's good and bad. Yeah, we'll see what happens out of that over the next few years and decades.
Yeah, no, definitely is a bit. Yeah, it's definitely got a scary component to it. There's no doubt about it. Talking about a scary component.
Uh-oh. Not sure if we're supposed to be hearing anything there.
According to me, you should have had something, but apparently you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm having some fun with screens and everything at the moment. Everything just seems a bit slow.
The story of my life this week, IT issues.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about Optus almost a week ago.
Oh, yes. I can't believe we didn't even talk about it. Didn't even talk
I know,
about
that's
it.
why I had to bring it up, talking about tech issues. What a major
my
cluster.
God. And that was. But, you know, the funny, hilarious thing about that was that they're trying to get in touch with the CEO, and they're getting the same response from the CEO as anyone who's on Optus does when they actually ring up and try to get help. Sorry, we're trying to do our best at the moment. Can't get to you.
What's really funny is I I heard on the grapevine from people in the know
Yeah.
that the reason why it took them so long was to restore services was because they had to contact humans to physically go out to locations to reboot. They couldn't because they had Optus mobiles, so they couldn't reach them. And their call centers run off Optus landlines,
course
so
they
they
do,
couldn't reach
yes.
anyone.
They
So
were in deep
it was
shit.
just a
Well,
cascade of events. It was just funny.
this is what happens when Singapore owns one of your biggest networks.
Mm.
This is what happens.
And you don't have resilience, and you need redundancy and many other fail-safe procedures.
Yep. I'm not in favor of other countries owning such massive networks that we depend on. I'm really not.
Yeah.
Because, the other country doesn't even care, really, to a certain extent. It doesn't affect them. So, I bet you Singapore's networks don't go down.
No, probably not.
Just saying.
They probably have better service than what we do, but
I'm sure they do.
Country.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, true. Right, now, try this again.
11,780 votes to win the election. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Losers only. It's Trump. China.
Yes, absolutely losers only. So as you probably know, Trump is just doing his scon at the moment. He's just gone full ball wacko. I mean, we know he's a bit of a nut job, but he has gone completely nuts. And I don't know if it's because his sister just died. I'm not sure. Any people out there, his older sister just died, Mary Ann Trump something.
Barry.
Barry
was her son.
I think it's Mary Ann Trump Barry. I think that's right. And she was Trump's sister. She died at 86. Now, I haven't heard him talk about that at all. All I've heard is him talk about the opposition as vermin and wanting to set up camps in America. As I say, he's just gone. He's off the dial. He's completely off the dial. And that is exactly
unleashed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is exactly the same opinion that his judges are having at the moment. So this one I'm talking about tonight is his New York business fraud trial, and all of the families, Ivanka Trump, Eric, and whatever the other dickhead's name is, the Trump family.
Isn't that Donald Jr.?
I don't know what it, Donald Duck. I don't know. But the thing is that they've all testified now, and basically everything. I mean, the thing with this case, the most interesting and the sort of inconsequential thing about this case is they've already been found guilty. They've already been found guilty. All they're doing is working out how much money, or if Orange Head will be allowed to organize his business in New York ever again. That's all they are finding out. So it's how big the punitive damages are. It's not are there punitive damages? Am I guilty? That is not the case. So anyway.
Wow.
And he's got this.
And hasn't he been complaining and bad mouthing people on the judge's side? Or I forget what they're called. It's like solicitors or people in the judge's office.
You mean the clerk?
Yeah, the clerks. That's it. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done worse than that. He's actually put out on his Truth Social bullshit site the clerk's middle name, and he's
even after being barred from talking about it.
No, he did that before he was barred, and they should have just barred him instantaneously. They have given him so much more rope than any other defendant that would be going through this. It's so much preferential treatment. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, legal analysis, including former federal prosecutor Nima Rahami, expressed skepticism about the defense's chances. She predicts a likely loss for Trump and terming the trial a disaster from a legal perspective. Well, you've got to be living under a rock to not realize that. So the judge of this fraud case, and this is probably the one that he would be most upset about, because this is the one that stops him doing any business in New York. Because that's what the fine, they're looking at fines of at least, not maximum, at least $250 million. And there is still, as I said, the jury's still out of whether he can even pay that. Because you got to think about what he's doing at the moment, right? He's got 91 charges and 5 indictments or something. And he has to have lawyers for every single one of those cases. So imagine how much money he's paying lawyers. Well, that's exactly right. Imagine how much money he's paying lawyers. You're spot on. You're 100% right. So, Trump's personal attorney general, Trump's personal attacks on the attorney general, which is Letitia James, described as damaging. Trump's behavior might have led to contempt of court charges if he lacked Secret Service protection. Trump's acknowledgement of providing input on false financial documents and his conflicting statements weaken his defense. So he's an idiot because he thinks he's just God, basically. He says things that are ridiculously stupid that are just against him as soon as he says them. And so basically when the judge said, who is responsible for all of your accounts at the Trump organization, he said, everybody. So basically, he's basically said, everyone's guilty.
I'm bringing everyone with me.
That's right. So everyone's guilty. So it is. You got to laugh because it is funny. It really is just ridiculous. Anyway, so Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, Ivanka, testified attempting to shift the responsibility onto accountants and lawyers. But Nima Rahami notes potential liability for Trump's sons and Trump's organization. Experts criticized the defense for failing to justify the valuations and undermine the state's case. But you can't just value your own property and go, my property's worth $100 billion. I'm sorry, you have to suck it up. That's what it's worth. So, so it's interesting.
You got to wonder how many other property developers do something similar anyway. So he's probably just on a different scale.
Yeah, we'll see. That's exactly right. He is on a different scale. So, and that's the thing. He is on a different scale, but he's put himself on that scale. So, that's that's his prerogative. So he just has to suck it up, basically.
Yeah.
And he is not liking what is happening. So,
Not surprised. Yeah, that's better. That's what we want to see in real life. For those listening to the podcast, we have Trump behind bars as our backdrop at the moment.
Yes, that is exactly what we want to see. No doubt about him. Lock him up. No, absolutely. But in summary, Donald Trump's business has reached a critical juncture with the defense facing significant challenges after damaging testimonies, i.e. all his kids talking. Legal experts expressed skepticism about the defense's ability to salvage the case, emphasizing the importance of justifying valuations, countering the judge's findings on false documents. Basically, he's absolutely fucked. So there is There is no way. Yeah, no, there's no way he can win this. There is no way he can win this. So he's just going to have to suck it up.
Cough it up, you mean?
Yes, well, absolutely. You're spot on. He will have to do that. He will do exactly that. And talking about coughing it up, we might cough it up and go to a break, I believe. So we'll be back after this.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Search Give Blood and book your donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wency and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
You know, I got the good news. I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news. You know, I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news.
So, what good news, pray tell, can you express to the Blurtstars out there, Wensai?
Oh, okay. This one is a local good news, local to Queensland. Local yet also distant at the same time. All will be revealed in a few seconds. Maria Suarez. Maria Suarez, who is Spanish but born here in Brisbane. She thought she had a very small family. She thought it was just her sister, and her parents, Spanish father, Croatian mother. But recently, Maria, who is a Sunshine Coast councillor, attended the Local Government Association of Queensland annual conference in Gladstone a few weeks ago, where she attended, and they did a welcome to country.
Oh, yeah.
And the welcome to country was performed by Auntie Julie Ingra. And sometime later during the conference, Maria went to talk to Auntie Julira to let her know how good the welcome to country was. And she went out to talk to her and touched her arm to get her attention, and she said, I reached out to touch her on the arm and tell her what a beautiful welcome to country she did, and I introduced myself as Maria. But Maria was wearing a name tag that had Maria Suarez, and Auntie Julieri said, oh, my niece's father was Suarez, and said his full name, which was then an exact match of Maria's father's name. So they started talking a bit more, and they worked out that her niece, so her sister, Auntie Julieri's sister, who goes by the name of Neola, so she had a relationship with Maria's father 50 odd years ago in central Queensland, and had Nikki, who is that offspring. And then 18 or so months later, Maria was born. So so they had that relationship. And so, they started talking and exchanging photos to see, oh, yep, this is definitely my father. Oh, yeah, this is my father too, or my ex and stuff like that. So, so during that night, they ended up talking to Nikki, who was working in on the coal mine, because she's a coal miner. And Yeah, so they joined together. They started chatting, and then a few weeks later, they finally all got together in real life in Gladstone at Nikki's house. And now they've all become closer, and now they're all talking about going to Spain and Croatia to meet the other side of the extended family. Maria's met all of Nikki's siblings and her uncles, and so
So
she's Indigenous
I say,
from
yeah.
Central
So Maria's
Queensland.
got, yeah, she's got. Did she? And she didn't know that she had any Indigenous in her at all until she met
On her, yeah,
Jaliri, I think it was.
Jiliri.
Wow, wow,
Um,
what a
yeah,
story.
and Nikki, who was the half sister, the firstborn of the three sisters, so she'd been searching for decades who her father was, and she'd been looking in Melbourne, Sydney, looking for the same name. Never ever found her biological father, who has sadly passed away a few years ago. So she never really got to meet him. But the good story, or the good news, I guess, is that yeah, she finally gets to meet the family that her father also had after her mother and her biological father split. So yeah, it was quite yeah, lucky that they all met in one spot, and yeah, I
No,
thought that was
that
quite.
is no, that's a great story. That's a
Mm,
really and that's what the topic's all about. This segment,
yeah.
it's all about good news, and that is
Mm,
good news. That's a great story. I've got some good news here too, and this one's in Queensland as well.
okay,
So,
very much local.
El- Elliot and Darren Stiles are heroes in their community for clearing rubbish debris from the Noosa River on Queensland's Sunshine Coast.
Oh, Sunshine
But
Coast again.
yes, but when the father and son rescued a $30,000 vintage watch from the bottom of the waterway, they became personal heroes of its grateful owner.
Oh,
That's nuts. So Elliot and Darren and Michael have been snorkeling together for years. It's not just for leisure. They go up and down the Noosa River, dredging all the litter and all the fallen bits fallen from boats and thrown into the water, etc. They pulled out bikes and shopping trolleys, fishing gear,
can
plastic
imagine.
pipes, glass bottles. Yeah, you name it, they pulled it out type thing. So, but it all started years ago when Elliot discovered a GoPro camera while snorkeling. He then put
Yeah.
some of the camera's images up on the local Facebook community page where the owner was discovered, and dozens of comments from well wishers. And it gave us a bit of a name as the finders of the Noosa River. Elliot said. One of the most recent requests came from a desperate river goer who had lost his Rolex Submariner, a watch he'd owned for 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? The vintage
Mm,
timepiece was worth anywhere from 20 to 30K. But the sentimental value of the man having owned a watch for 5 decades trumped everything. Initially, the
mm,
prospects of finding the watch seemed good, with the trio catching the local tides at the right time of the day. I cannot believe they have found a $30,000 watch at the bottom of a river. That is
mm.
nuts.
I'm
That is
curious to
just crazy.
know, was it still ticking?
Good question. Very good. If it was that old, it wouldn't be battery, would it? So,
No. It's just a matter of,
interesting.
can it survive underwater under that pressure, however deep it was, for
Yeah,
an extended period of time. And we know that phones can survive beyond what they're claimed to be able to stay underwater, like days or weeks even.
as
Doesn't
long as
mean
they're
they all
dried out
do, but
completely.
y-
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, it says here time was ticking for the lost watch, but whether the lost watch was ticking at the time, I don't know.
yeah.
So,
Where's our boom tish?
but after taking the search further downstream, Elliot spotted the treasure glinting in the riverbed. So, there is a little show and tell here, but I'll just put the show notes, the link in the show notes as always,
Mhm.
and you can have a look at that yourself. But I think that's just a really cool little story. And so
Yeah.
they're called Eco Warriors. And it's definitely worth reading about. So while Elliot sails into broader horizons at home, his father and his mate Michael will continue to do their part locally and urge others to do the same. So, but if we all picked up 1 or 2 pieces of rubbish daily, it would make a huge difference. And at the end of the day, it's all about us doing our bit. So
Yes.
that is a really, really good story. I like that one.
Very good. I like that one.
That's a
Yeah,
good
that's
story.
very good. And you never know what you find.
So
That's
what?
for sure.
No, absolutely not. It's crazy that it's still at the bottom of a river. Seriously, $30,000 watch. That's just nuts. And they've got the So if you go to the link that will be in the show notes, they've got the guy who actually got his watch, and I mean he's a pretty old guy, which he had to be because he's had it for 50 years. So. But anyway, but what we might do is we might go straight into this.
Fish, opportunity to smoke marijuana. Janitor, speed bump, ute. Like, stop stealing my chips, you scared.
Yo, Wolf. Quincy and the Kickster on Across the Dutch on New Zealand. You'd be landing.
Yes, you are on Across the Dutch, as it were. And it is all about New Zealand, if you've ever listened to this segment before. And tonight, it's about New Zealand birds, or at least that's what I'm talking about. Do you have a Kiwi segment tonight, Wensai?
No, I don't. It's all yours.
Okay, excellent. So you can just sit back, enjoy, because it should be a bit of fun. So a couple of weeks ago, New Zealand started having their Bird of the Year / Bird of the Century competition. And John Oliver, if anyone knows who John Oliver is, he is a talk show host / comedian. He's actually English, but he does he's done most of his good work in America for quite a long time. He used to be on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart years ago.
Oh, okay.
And and he was
Is that
very,
where he
very
started
good
in America?
Yes, I believe that's where he sort of got his break. Yeah. But anyway, he's had his last week tonight with John Oliver, and I can't recommend him enough. He's fantastic to listen to. But anyway, I digress as usual. He started talking about Bird of the Year. And the reason he started talking about Bird of the Year is because he came across Bird of the Year New Zealand and realized it was a competition. And he realized that there was nothing in the competition saying that people outside of New Zealand could not vote for their favorite bird of New Zealand.
Of New Zealand. Okay, there you go. He
In
read the rule book.
He did.
All of them. Yep.
He absolutely did, and exploited every loophole he could find. And I'll show you a few things in a minute. It's very funny. And before he got involved, and I won't say, I'll just hold that back in a minute. But before he got involved, normally they get about 3,000 people that vote for this bird competition.
Right.
Now, as you know, there's about 4.5 million people in New Zealand. So you can tell how many people are really interested.
1% of 1%.
That's not many. 3,000 people. Now, New Zealand's got some wicked birds, some really, really cool ones, and there's many that do sound quite the same. They have a kaka, they have a kia, they have a kakapo, they have a takahe, I think it is. Yeah, takahe. But the one that he fell in love with was called the puteki teki. And he particularly liked the puteki teki because he...
Say that again.
Puteki teki. He likes saying puteki teki as I do. It's a good word to say. Yes, Puteki Teki. It's very, very good. And it is funny, really, because the way they do their mating dance, you can almost say the name of the bird as they sort of do their dance. It's sort of the same rhythm. It's like Puteki Teki, Puteki, Puteki, Puteki. But I do have a little bit of show and tell, so I'll try to get the screen right, and this should be a bit of fun. So,
and we need to keep in mind that as we watch this.
Right. You won't need to look too hard. So yeah.
Okay.
So this is the bird of the century vote. I'll explain a couple of things afterwards as well. So just bear with me.
This year, New Zealand's Bird of the Year competition will also decide the Bird of the Century.
Oh my God!
The voting website reveals 75 plucky and endangered candidates with eerily similar names like the Kakapo, the Kokako, or the Kaka. But as of last Sunday, one particular sad sack received a much improved chance at kicking all the other birds' cloacas.
Tacky. It feels like your tongue is tap dancing.
Yes, US chat show host John Oliver is now the official Puteki Teki campaign manager.
I don't just want Puteki to win. I want in the biggest landslide in the history of this magnificent competition.
Pouncing on a loophole that allows non-Kiwis to stick their beaks in, Oliver got permission to promote the goofy-looking bird.
I don't think they understood quite what they were unleashing when they said go for it.
Oliver has commissioned aeroplane flyovers and billboards all over.
This is Mumbai, this is London, this is Tokyo, this is the Champs-Élysées in Paris.
He's also launched this superb website.
This is what democracy is all about. America interfering in foreign elections.
And the bird voting world has gone clucking mad.
Votes. I can safely say we are into the six figures now.
Six figures?
Six figures,
bro. Some other birds' camps are crying foul to that Russia medaled in US elections.
It really ruffles the feathers of the integrity of the Bird of the Year campaign.
But organisers are generally chuffed with the awareness it's raised. For example, Jamie Oliver, no relation, is definitely thinking about how he'd spatchcock one as we speak.
Puteki Teki, pucka tucka baby, get some squawk on your fork.
So, will John Oliver end up crowning New Zealand's true things?
Look at this thing! Let's make bird history!
Let's dive into this a little bit deeper. Jamie Oliver, are you sure you're not related to that man?
He is my great uncle, John, who went rogue in the Victorian times. And yes, no, nothing to do with it.
Yeah, so you're not pretending.
We'll stop it there because the funniest part was the part that we just heard. And so, yeah, absolutely. It's a wicked bird. Now I've got some information about the Puteki Teki. I love saying it too. I totally agree with John Oliver. It's just awesome to say. Now, there's a couple of really particularly interesting things that the website itself is pretty good. So if I just pop that up, I should be able to get. Here we go. Oh, I see. You're being nasty. Okay. I'm talking to the web, obviously.
Is it talking back?
Yeah, we've got little bits of delay and things like that. But I'll just see if I should be able to bring it up. I could bring it up before. Come on, let me bring it up. The Puteki Teki kami hiri. It's annoying. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so I'll see if I can get this. Okay, so this is what we're talking about.
Just like John Oliver.
Now, absolutely, and the lovely thing about this is it has a really cool mating sort of call and system. What they do is that two of them, they get up on their sort of their hind their hind
At the
feet.
heels?
I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how that, but they do it. They do it in the water. They like come up to the
okay.
fullest extent, and
Yeah.
then they sort of look at each other, and they
Mhm.
sort of puff out their sort of their throat, and they sort of look at each other, and then they sort of look away in disgust. That's sort of their mating. So it is actually called the Pateki Teki is actually called the Australasian crested grebe. And the reason it is Australasian is because it is found in Australia as well.
Ah, same name?
And
Pateki Teki?
yes, no, because Pateki Teki is Maori. So, so no, it's this Australasian crested grebe in Australia. Now, whether the Indigenous have a name for it, I would be surprised if they didn't, because it's probably been around a really long time, I would assume. And it's found quite a lot in the shallow lakes, and with fringes of vegetation, basically country lakes, those sort of things, on the coasts as well. But the hilarious thing is, well, it's not hilarious. 82% of New Zealand's birds are on the edge of extinction.
Wow. Is that because of human movements, or what's it called, land clearing and things like that?
Yeah, look, I think it will be land clearing. Also, their gun laws over there are nowhere near what our gun laws are. And hunting is much a bigger thing over there. But I don't know, but I would assume the Pateki Teki will be protected. I don't think it would be able to be hunted, etc. But I think more to what you were talking about, land clearing. But it's not just that. They have problems with stoats, and they have problems with ferrets and things like this, wild ferrets and stoats, etc.
Even possums, they're a nuisance over there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But I mean, they're not affecting the Pateki Teki as such.
Right.
But those sort of animals are, those sort of rodents, ferrets and stoats and those sort of things. And because they only really have birds in New Zealand, they don't have anything to kill the stoats or the ferrets, etc. So they have to sort of go out and cull what they can, because they've got wild ones now, where, as you know, in Australia, we'll have something that'll probably chomp on a stoat or chomp on a but still, we've got problems with extinction of bird species as well. It's not. It's definitely not isolated to New Zealand. But the campaign itself is quite funny. There's a card on the birdoftheyear.org.nz site, and it's been written basically by the John Oliver campaign. And it says, they puke, they do a weed dance before mating, they have great hair, and there are fewer than 1,000 of them left in New Zealand. The Poo Teki Teki isn't just a bird cooler than any of us could ever hope to be. It's a bird that needs our help. So join us and vote for the Poo Teki Teki. Take just one look at its mullet and you'll see the Poo Teki Teki is indeed the bird of the century.
Definitely looks like it, that's for sure.
It does indeed. So I would like to take this this moment to say that we are fully behind the Poo Teki Teki, and
is the competition still open?
No, it's not. It's closed.
It's closed now.
I know. I wanted to vote. They had a fantastic website. It was called votethisbird.com. And you can still see the website, and I'll put it in the show notes. It's a really, really good website. What I do have, sorry, go for it.
Which
I don't know.
Won?
No, that hasn't come up yet. But what I didn't tell you before, she talked about it before, but sucks fuggers. So it used to be, around about 3,000 because of John Oliver's contribution. They've got over 100,000 entries.
Yeah. Wow. That's definitely putting the bird on the map, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is indeed. It is indeed. So
We're going to have to
I
keep an
thought
eye on
that
that
was
website and
fantastic.
see which bird won.
Yeah, no, we will. I'll definitely do that. We'll definitely make sure we follow up on that. Now, a couple of things I do have. I have some sounds that the poo techie makes, and I got to tell you, they are interesting.
Okay.
So see how you go with this. See if this comes across okay. I heard it and thought that is weird. It was almost sultry. I mean,
Yeah.
it was quite weird. It was. I've got another one as well. Just this one, and then I'm done basically. That's pretty close to the last one, but I like the first one in particular. I don't know.
Yeah,
The first one sounds like there's a woman in the background or something going.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they
I don't know. It's just
human sounds.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird, man. Very weird. So, a relatively large diving bird with slender neck, sharp black bill, and a head with a distinctive black double crest and bright chestnut and black cheek frills. It carries its young on its back when swimming, which is, really different. Really different.
Yeah.
And really nice.
Which is what we saw in the image before.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So if I've got an image of mating, I'll show that to you, but I don't think I do. Oh yeah, no, I do actually. So hold on, I'll see if I can get this up.
Yeah. It's not
Here
a
we
kid's
go.
show, so it's okay to show this.
Yeah, it is. It's it's not. It's actually a really nice photo. It's got to be said.
That's just like your heart, like swans when they do it in the love heart shape.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what we're seeing there. It's beautiful, isn't it? Natural heart in the wild. That's pretty cool. That is a pretty cool looking bird. I got to agree with John Oliver. I like it. He's on the money. He's on the money. He's on the money.
I do like the Malay,
the
mullet.
Yes,
the description.
The Malay. Yes. Yeah. No, it is a good description, definitely. But so yeah, no. So I thought that would be a bit of fun to bring to the show tonight. So there you go.
That was cool. That was great. Thank you for that. That's techie.
Thank John Oliver. What a brilliant job he did there. So
and we await the decision of the masses who voted, and I will assume it was the Pateki that takes the crown.
Well, we hope so, but we will definitely follow, as you say. We'll see what's going on. So, now, what people probably won't realise is that next week will be your last show in this country for 6 weeks, I believe.
That's right. That is absolutely right. We're off onto our annual pilgrimage to another country for December. So off to Thailand and Vietnam this time. So we've added Thailand to the list.
You must be finding it hard to hold back your excitement, I would have thought.
I know. It is very exciting. It's got to get this thing called work out of the way.
Yeah.
Which has been a bit shitty.
Yes, yes, it has.
Yeah. But other than that, not long to go. Half the family leaves this Friday, and then myself and my other son leave next week. So yes.
Oh right, okay. So the other ones are going to go this week.
Yeah. So Elijah and Kim go this Friday, and next week on Wednesday they are going to a dog rescue center in northern Thailand in Chiang Mai, and they will be volunteering for, I think it's a week, looking after stray dogs and injured dogs that come to their center, and don't know exactly what they're going to do, but yeah, they'll be there. they've had their rabies shot over the last 6 months.
That
in
definitely was
preparation.
my next question. Absolutely.
Yes, yeah, because in those countries, rabies is still pretty high. So,
Oh yeah, big time.
yeah, so they're prepared. They've done their homework and
Yeah.
forked out a lot of money for those rabies shots. So it better be bloody worth it.
Yes, absolutely. I gather you need to have rabies shots just to go to Vietnam and Thailand. Yeah?
Not necessarily, but for a high risk venture like this, where you're literally next to those dogs that are strays, then yeah, you have to. But generally, we've never had it, and yeah.
Okay, well, look, have a magnificent time. Say goodbye to the other half and Elijah. Elijah's going, is that right?
Yep, correct.
Yep.
Elijah and Kim.
Yep, to have a fantastic time. And
Thank you.
I will see you back here next week on the New Blurt.
That's right. And I will be here in sunny Brisbane for the last time for the year.
Yes, fantastic. So join us next week for Wednesday's last show in Australia for about 6 weeks. So it should be a bit of fun. We're not sure what we're going to do yet, but it should be a bit of fun. I'll probably beat you, Kate, actually. That would be the good way.
Probably good way to end. Yeah.
I would have thought so. All right, people. If you're listening to this on the pod, I hope you enjoyed it. If you've listened to this on the video, hope you've enjoyed that as well. We are available on Instagram and Twitter and Spoutable as well. Spoutable's getting so much better. Anyway, we will go. I will go. Good night.
Bye. See you, everyone.